Hello, hope you all are all doing well. It's May 8th, and today I'm once again going to be talking about severe weather and pretty much just severe weather. Uh, got several days of severe weather. Really, I mean, we have stuff going on right now. We have the threat tomorrow in two different places, and then we're going to be seeing the threat shift into the high plains for Wednesday. We're going to be talking about that today. So I hope y'all are all doing really good. Having a good Monday. But yeah, let's go and get started. So, we're looking at northwestern Iowa here. We have a couple severe warnings. We have some storms here. Does have a history of producing some hail. We can see this storm right now over Mapleton in northwestern Iowa, and then up here, let's see if we can shift or switch radars. I don't think we're gonna get much of a better view of that. No, not really. But we have some storms up in northern Iowa as well, producing some hail. We have a 1-inch hail report up there. A severe warning in western Wisconsin, which I think the cell was the cell was also tornado warned shortly ago. I think it was. We have a lot of activity in that area, southeastern Minnesota, in between Rochester and Minneapolis. Uh, and let's take a look at central Missouri. I actually got GR2 pulled up in that area here. So we have just kind of like a broken line of hail producing like storms here. The main threats with these is like moderate sized hail, like in between an inch and an inch and a half. We can see have reports ranging from about an inch to like an isolated report of an inch and a half north of Waynesville there, Waynesville. And then over in western Missouri, we have this like kind of embedded looking supercell here. Yeah, that's producing some very large hail. See 1.75 inch hail near Nevada and like southwestern Missouri. This line is just generally progressing south, like kind of southeast. We'll be heading towards like Eminence, Van Buren, Greenville, and then this storm over here we'll see it could make it towards like Lamar, Greenfield, and then even into like Mount Vernon and the Springfield area potentially later. See, let's see what else we have. Let's go back over to radar Romeo just because it's quicker. We have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of stuff going on in Texas. We can see just a lot of like messy storm, like summer type storms in my opinion. They're just producing some large hail and stuff throughout Texas, even down in Houston here. We got, is that a flash flood report? Yeah, that's a hail report. Okay. But yeah, in Houston we have a severe thunderstorm warning. We have like a lot of like messy storms in that area as well. By Tyler, Texas. Let's go Shreveport radar for that. Let's see this storm. This storm actually kind of looks interesting. Play out the radar a bit here. Oh, so this storm is just sitting over the same area. We can see the storm is just pretty much training over itself. It's shifted a little bit further west, but like this area here has definitely been getting heavy rain for like an hour, so wouldn't be surprised if we see some flooding issues soon here. Yeah, we can see that storm right there. And then into like the El Dorado area in southern Arkansas, which wait, there we go. We have that kind of messy little embedded storm there. So pretty much what we got ongoing right now. I don't think we have any other. We have a 2-inch hail report right there. I don't see that on GR2. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, we don't have much else going on other than what we just looked at. So yeah, let's go and start taking a look at like just our convective outlooks and stuff. So for the rest of the night, we have a large slight risk from like southwestern Missouri over into southern Ohio. Goes down into southern Tennessee as well, or like central southern Tennessee, like kind of near the Nashville area, I guess. And then we have another slight risk in southern Texas along the border of Mexico. Two tour up in Minnesota and Iowa, and another 2 tour from southern Missouri over into Ohio. Got a 215 winds and even a 15 sig hail where we had those storms in Missouri and moving into southern Illinois. So that's pretty interesting, I guess. But we're pretty much enough talking about today. There's no point really talking about today in my like what's going on right now. A lot of times, like I don't want to go talk about it too much because by the time this video is posted, it's already going to be like an hour and a half past like the time when I originally filmed it. So it's already like that stuff's going to be kind of old. But I want to talk about tomorrow mainly, and then Wednesday. So tomorrow we have two slight risks. We can see we have this one from southern Kansas, like southern Kansas and the northern Oklahoma, and then another one in eastern North Carolina. This is the one we're going to be talking about first. So we can see we have pretty much just HRR indicates like a couple storms going off there. Let's just take a couple soundings in eastern North Carolina. Looks like we have some front pushing through. That is, what is that? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some basic stuff so I can figure out where I can actually find good soundings. So it seems like we have mixing issues. Okay, not really mixing issues, but yeah, all that like moisture just mixes out, and of course we're gonna get contaminated soundings where we actually have pockets of moist air. So that's kind of an issue. But yeah, so I mean, I guess generally the environment's supportive of damaging wind. We can see like really high, DK values and stuff. So we're just going to be seeing these storms pretty much gust out, and we're just going to be seeing like mainly a damaging wind threat, which I think is, yeah, a slight like a lower end hail threat too. I think a lot of times like when we have like setups like this, we see a damaging wind threat as well as like a small hail threat. Yeah, there's the potential for some smaller hail for sure, but across like eastern North Carolina, even in the South Carolina, we'll be looking at that damaging wind threat. Even Virginia too, southern areas of Virginia. Now over in that western risk, or not really western, but in that like risk in the central U.S., like Kansas and Oklahoma. Go ahead and talk about that real quick. Let's get dew points going here. I find dew points helpful a lot of times for like taking soundings, I guess. But yeah, so this area here definitely just catches my eye. Take a sounding. Yeah, okay, that's an interesting sounding for sure. The shear profiles are weird. I can see a 2 Tor out of this, which I think is probably what the SPC has. Yeah, a large 2 Tor. But generally, that environment's questionable for tornadoes. But really, the hail threat and the damaging wind threat of this are going to be significant. Like we're going to be seeing some significant damaging winds with these storms as they gust out and stuff. In that area, we're going to be seeing. I kind of agree with like what the HRRR has like reflectivity wise. We take a look at it, and it pretty much has like a line going off and then heading south into this area, and that's about it. You can see after that, I mean, this is pretty far north too compared to like our risk. It's like outside of the marginal risk in some places, but like we take a sounding in front of that. Yeah, the environment's decent. Like I can see a 2 Tor out of that, but definitely damaging wind I think will be our big threat. We'll also be seeing some significant hail. I think we're just going to be seeing like a line of storms producing like, honestly, like I think it's going to be really similar to what we're seeing today right here. I think we're going to be seeing like lines of storms similar to this, but with like embedded and like storms embedded producing hail pretty much. I think that's what we're going to be looking at. So yeah, that is pretty much tomorrow. I think I don't know. It's hard to predict like where our greatest severe weather threat's going to be with these types of like these like lower end events, I guess you could say, like with these lower end like weird. I don't know how to explain this event. It's like it's gonna be like after dark. I expect these storms to die kind of quickly. We can see by like midnight and stuff, the storms are in like all the way in northwestern Arkansas. They're just getting choked out by the cap and stuff. Lower instability, and that type of that type of stuff. Where we have more forcing and stuff up along the warm front, I'm guessing. I think that's probably the warm front. Let me take a look. Actually, no. What is? That's a weird boundary. Yeah, there's some type of boundary. It's probably is a warm front. But yeah, we can see like winds out of the like southeast and east here, and then shift to like further out of the south. So some kind of boundary there. But along that, we're gonna be seeing like the forcing needed for some more storms. Potentially Wednesday night or tomorrow night. My bad. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of those across areas like Nebraska, northern Kansas. As you can see, like, HRRR indicates like, or I gotta stop saying that. HRRR shows those. But like severe wise, it's kind of. I think the severe threat with those would probably be pretty low. Judging by the sounding here, that does not look good. Down in the Kansas, let's take a sounding real quick. Yeah, the environment is not good. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some like gusty winds and stuff or some hail, like some smaller hail reports. But I don't think we're gonna be seeing anything that big of it. Like that's a big deal. But yeah, so now I want to talk about Wednesday. So you have a slight risk from Wyoming down in the down through Colorado, eastern Colorado into western Kansas. So let's talk about this. So we're gonna go over to COD here. Don't really need to go over to COD because I'm on my computer, but we'll just use COD. We can see this is the 18Z, well the 18Z run of the HRRR for 18Z Wednesdays. This would be 2 p.m. Well 1 p.m. Central, and we're looking at pretty much just like higher like elevated instability values and stuff in eastern Wyoming, eastern Colorado. Actually, I want to go over to Pivotal Weather because I think soundings. So let's see. Okay. Go ahead and get the let's go and get the lovely NAM3, okay? It's a great idea. What is it? What is happening? It's like a don't even understand what is going on here, but yeah, so the environment is pretty much just I mean, I've seen a lot of people like on Twitter and stuff post some really good soundings, but honestly, like the environment looks good, but like we're probably going to be seeing, in my opinion, hail and hail being our biggest threat. I mean, we're definitely going to be seeing a big hail threat. Kind of curious as what the SPC says. Yeah, so pretty much supercells and stuff. Okay. Yeah, which I can see. I can see like some supercells, I guess, out of that. But let's go and switch models because you know the NAM3 isn't the best. Okay, let's go to the. Oh yeah, I don't want to look at the FE3. None of these are gonna go out far enough. So I guess let's just take a look at the GFS and the Euro real quick for a little bit of a comparison. It's kind of this event's like it's kind of at that point where it's like at a weird time, like because if we had the 0-0-Z run of the HRRR for tonight out, then we could actually look through the entire event pretty much on the HRRR and get stuff out of that. But the HRRR doesn't go out far enough right now. So okay, let's take a sounding in eastern Wyoming Wednesday on the GFS. Yeah, similar situation. I can see like large hail threat being the biggest threat with that. That little warning or there could be a little bit of a problem though. We'll see if that actually what happens with that. I'll try to get a video out before this happens and we can talk about that again, but that's kind of weird because the NAM3 also had that in some of those soundings that I took. Pretty sure it did. But yeah, I definitely am thinking we're gonna have a large hail threat. Pretty steep lapses and stuff. Okay, it's a weird sounding, but yeah. So that's pretty much the GFS. I'm kind of curious what the European has. Let's take a look. So let's get rid of temperatures here. Let's go to dew point. We'll take a look at dew points. I know we'll take soundings off of that. Kind of a good bet. So of course we have like a bit of dry air in place, just because I mean this is a high plains event. Normally we have like lower amounts of moisture, just how it tends to be. So I'm not really able to get a good sounding out the Euro it seems, but I mean I generally think with the lapses like this and stuff with you know the rest of the environment is I think we're gonna be seeing like a isolated very large hail threat. I think that's what we're gonna be looking at, as well as like the threat for some like lower end damaging winds. Tornado threat though, I don't think we're gonna be seeing like too high. I don't think we're gonna be seeing much of a tornado threat to be honest. Like it's not gonna be high at all. Thursday's a little bit different though. I want to talk about Thursday in just a second. Actually, right now we'll talk about it. But yeah, because I pretty much talked all I want to talk about Wednesday for now. I'll try to get a video out tomorrow night where I go like a little more in depth. So yeah, we see that little wave come in, and then Thursday, we can see it's positioned pretty much throughout this area here. So we'll probably see that severe weather threat shift a little further east Thursday into areas of the plains. Let's go ahead and take a look on the Euro. It's like a wide area here of like dews in the 60s. This area here like really stands out. We'll take a long box sounding. Okay, yeah, that's not that impressive, but you'd have like a lower end severe threat with that. It's like a marginal risk sounding in my opinion. And let me get the Let's get MLK photographs. Okay, that's not gonna fail us. That's not gonna fail us. So yeah, it seems like this is such a weird event. Once again, this looks like. Let's see if I can get any good soundings, like practically anywhere. Okay, that's a little better. Let's see. Take one way further. We can take one like further east. Yeah, so that's like a big marginal risk in my opinion, just for like wind and hail. Uh, Move further south because we're gonna be having that threat probably down here. So we have like a lot higher instability values locked away down into like northern Texas, Oklahoma, and stuff. Okay, yeah, now that is pretty good. That's not bad. Yeah, so as we're getting down into like this area further south, let me go back to the Thursday evening. Like this area here does also catch my eye, I guess. Like kind of on the southern part of that wave right there. Let's actually just shift into the south central U.S. here. Just gonna look at some basic stuff. 850 millibar winds. We can see what we got going on. So you can see, I mean, this looks like an event from last week. Okay, yeah. With this sounding, this shows us kind of what we got going on. So a little bit of calving, we gotta watch out, but that's not really an issue. But the Hodo and stuff, this is a nice 2%, a 2 TOR in my opinion. Definitely gonna be looking at like hail threat, damaging wind threat, but that I could definitely see it like a decent severe weather threat out of that. Kind of curious what we have going on further east. So let me take a look over there. Actually, I want to go back to. Actually, no, we'll stick on dew points. Or we'll stick with dew points. My bad. So it seems like yeah, maybe we could get some storms going off along the dry line Thursday evening. Take a look. Maybe we probably will just see some like normal summer type storms, kind of further east into that area there. Just due to the like all the moisture and stuff. But I don't think we're gonna be seeing like any too much like organized severe weather further east. But yeah, like with this sounding here off the GFS, yeah, I can see a decent threat. Take one even in Oklahoma. That's a big box sounding. Keep that in mind. This is a pretty big one. I mean, we can see shear profile is pretty good. Hodo is interesting. In my opinion, this isn't like what I'm trying to get out of this isn't like a good setup, like a great setup for tornadoes, but this looks decent. Like this looks like a 2%, 5% TOR in my opinion. You can see some isolated tornadoes out of this, but definitely just some like damaging wind and hail producers. More actually damaging wind probably with that sounding. But yeah, and the last thing I want to do in today's video is just want to look further north. I'm curious what the GFS has, because the GFS has some crazy surface low back down here. Now that would bring this area here into the like with it. This looks like a good severe weather setup on the GFS. Okay, yeah. So that's decent for tornadoes. Okay, yeah, that's pretty. Well, the year is completely different though, so I wouldn't like bet on this actually happening. But like, let's take a sounding in southern Kansas. And yeah, look at that. That is really good. That's really good right there. So we'll see. We'll talk about this again tomorrow, as to like if we see any shifts. But as of right now, definitely be seeing. I think we'll be seeing a bigger event Thursday. Not a bigger event. I think we'll be seeing an event Thursday in the central, like from Kansas down into Texas. Kind of like like the good old like Tornado Alley area. So that'd be kind of good, I guess. To see some storms there instead of like the southeast. So the southeast really hasn't gotten that much this year, to be honest. The deep south and the southeast compared to normal. I guess no, the deep south like Mississippi, Louisiana, and stuff has gotten a good bit of stuff, but like tornado wise, like southeast has been pretty bad this year compared to how it's like recently. I think the only state that's been like higher than average, like even like the recent average, I think is Georgia. Uh, South Carolina, North Carolina, I know has been there's been no severe weather events like Oregon out like big severe weather events in the southeast in a while. So I guess the plains. I guess this year the plains are kind of taking back their like their ranking as being Tornado Alley. But actually, wait, I'm kind of curious. So I think the state with the highest number of tornadoes this year by far is Illinois. Actually, so that's pretty cool because that's not normally how it is. Illinois is kind of like a middle state normally, I guess you could say. Like they'd never really get the most tornadoes, but they never get the least. But Illinois, I really want to chase in like Iowa and stuff. That's kind of where I want to go. Once I go out into the plains. But it kind of went off topic there. But thank y'all for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk about this again. Sorry if I seem kind of tired than I am. Also just dealing with some stuff. But yeah, goodbye.